Sorry, welcome back. Sorry, my mic was still muted. Today we're going to be jumping right into the story of the day. Today we're looking at a recently released video that reveals a Democrat lawmaker receiving instructions from Jeffrey Epstein during a Trump impeachment proceeding. That is amazing and astounding that mainstream media isn't covering this and asking questions. How come the Democrats were colluding with Epstein to make Trump look bad, yet claim that Epstein was partnering with Trump to abuse girls on the island? Both things can't be true at the same time. So we'll talk about that. We're also going to be following up with other stories that that will actually be grinding your gears. So pull up your keyboard and send your comments as we dive into these stories. Oh, sorry. Now, Canary King, thank you for joining. I'm going to be putting up the chat. So this is yeah, so thanks for joining the live stream. Now, if you're watching, all right, don't be a stranger. Okay, let us know what you think in the chat, and I will be responding to every single one of your messages. All right. Now, when we started out the live stream, when I was about to go live, my computer froze and I had to restart everything and set everything up. So that's basically what tends to happen when you're doing a live stream. All right, but thanks for hanging out and being so patient. Okay, so let's jump into this video. Now, newly released documents reviewed by the Washington Post appear to indicate that a 2019 hearing where Michael Cohen testified, Jeffrey Epstein was texting with Stacey Plaskett, okay, Democrats from Virgin Islands. If this was a Republican, if this were a Republican, the mainstream media will be all over this. I guarantee you, they will be all over it, and we will not hear the last of this. So we're going to just watch, and we're going to see how, while she's doing the proceedings, you're going to see
this was when Barack Obama
text
was
messages
president of the United States. And while we were once driving through a struggling neighborhood in Chicago, he commented that only Black people could live that way.
All right, so I'm going to get my face out of the way. I'm going to get my face out of the way. And I'm just going to comment. Now, while the proceeding was going on, I'm just going to track back and hit play. Okay, so the Democrats released all these files. The Democrats released 3 emails out of over 20,000 emails that they had access to. Other people did their due diligence and went through the documents and found correspondence between this congressperson and Jeffrey Epstein in the middle
This was when
of
Barack
a
Obama
hearing.
was president of the United States.
So she's chewing, and
while we
then
were once
Epstein
driving through-
sends her a message asking, "Are you chewing?" And then she stops chewing. This dude owned these guys.
Struggling
All right?
neighborhood in
So
Chicago.
she stops
He
chewing,
commented
not
that
anymore.
only Black people could live that way.
And then she sends and says, "Not
Attorney-client
anymore."
privilege, yes, I will turn it over.
You as my
Epstein
friend,
says, okay. Epstein says, goodness, okay, I'm going to take out this. I want you guys to see what's going on here. I'm going to take out the scroller. Let me take this out. I need to take it out. Sorry. All right.
has pointed out, misled the
Epstein
committee
says
today in a written submission that contradicted your testimony. You have suggested you are going to review that. Did you review it?
Yes, I will turn it
right.
over.
So Epstein tells her to ask about Rona. Okay? Cohen brought up Rona, the keeper of secrets, And then she didn't even know who Rona was.
You, as my
and
friend
she had
Mr.
to
Meadows
text
pointed
back
out, misled this committee
to
even
ask
today in a written
Epstein,
submission that contradicted
Rona?
your testimony. You have suggested you are going to review that. Did you review? Are you going to review it in our next break to correct the record?
Okay.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Then question: you helped out the president's
And then she says to Epstein, quick,
campaign, or were
I'm
involved
up
in the
next.
campaign as a representative, as a
Is that an
spokesman, even in
acronym?
your
She
words
didn't know
today.
who it was.
Your idea for the campaign dating back to 2011.
And then Epstein
Is that
texts
accurate,
back,
yes or no?
that's his assistant.
Mr.
And then she asked,
Weisenberg and other individuals, Ms. Rona. Who are those individuals? Are they with the Trump Organization?
They
And
are.
are there other people that we should be meeting with?
So Alan Weisselberg is the chief financial officer.
Uh-huh.
The
You got to
Trump
quickly give us
Organization.
as many names as you can so we can get to them.
Yes, ma'am.
Is Ms. Rona, what is Ms. Rona's?
Rona Graff is Mr. Trump's executive assistant.
And would she be able to corroborate many of the statements that you've made here?
Yes, her office is directly next to his, and she's involved in a lot that went on.
and then Epstein replies, good work. These are the guys who are trying to tell us that President Trump was partnering with Epstein. Meanwhile, they were being coached by Epstein on questions to ask Trump's lawyer because there were things he knew about the organization. Of course, his reach was was very vast, and he was able to pull on resources to get some of that information. Now, the let me just show you guys what I have on my screen real quick. Okay, so we have the newly released Epstein estate documents reveal that the Yeti microphone's on. Let's see. All right, so let me know if the sound is back. No, I'm not on mute. Yeti microphone's on. Let's see. Guys, I don't know what just happened. Okay, I don't know what just happened, but my sound just came back. Okay, my sound just came back. So I need to be sure it's still on. All right. Just need to make sure it's still on. All right. So, all right. Thank you guys for letting me know that my sound had tripped off somehow. I don't know what happened. All right. So the story behind the story here is you have a Democrat rep who was actively colluding with Epstein to get dirt any way they could on President Trump during an impeachment hearing in February 2019. All of the files that they have available to them show that there was collusion between them and people in the government. But they cherry-picked 3 emails that simply mentioned Trump in those emails, redacted the name of Virginia Giuffre to make it look like there's this unknown victim who is out there somewhere and isn't going to be available to be questioned. But she already had written in her memoir and had given sworn testimony that President Trump didn't do anything wrong. So you have yet another hoax playing out before our eyes in real time. Now, I've said again and again that if President Trump did do anything wrong, then we should hold him accountable. It's really a simple thing. There's nothing complicated about this whole scenario. All right. The Democrats wanted to appear like people who are Trump supporters are so brainwashed that they wouldn't hold him accountable if he was found guilty of wrongdoing, and nothing could be further from the truth. Many of the MAGA supporters have been calling out to say, look, if there's nothing in the Epstein files, all right, and even if there is something in the Epstein files, release the Epstein files. Everybody needs to know, because people have been harmed or hurt by this entire debacle. Now, here's Timu Obama, all right, when he's questioned about this situation, he just looks like a deer in the headlights.
Thanks. Why should Americans trust you and House Democrats on the Jeffrey Epstein files when one of your own, Congresswoman Plaskett, was found to be texting with Jeffrey Epstein during a hearing, getting information from him, using that in her questioning during a congressional hearing, and at one point he tells her, good job?
This is a bipartisan effort to make sure that, consistent with what the survivors have requested, that there's full and complete transparency, and every single predator who may be in those Justice Department files doesn't escape accountability.
That is not the answer to the question. This reminds me of the video we watched last night of Chuck Schumer not answering a question that he was asked. For 4 years, Democrats under Joe Biden didn't release the Epstein files. Can you let us know why? And then he says that Trump Trump is trying to hide, he's hiding something. What is he hiding? The question was Democrats and Biden. I guess the mask is off. The mask is off. If this was a Republican doing this, all right, personally, I would be outraged that someone so blatantly is showing that he is dishonest and he's not answering the questions that we're asking. This happened during the Gulf War, when the second Gulf War, when people were asking, where are the WMDs? Okay, I guess that was where the Republicans lost the support of everyone who basically was a Republican diehard. They were like, okay, there's something very wrong with this picture. Okay, now, Scott Jennings had something very interesting to say to people on his panel who essentially insisted on continuing to support these outlandish claims that Trump has skeletons in his cupboard.
Exchanges does not mean that they did something
like
criminal.
Larry Summers.
Okay, but
or Stacey Plaskett.
Yes.
The fact that they're having exchanges
exactly.
with Epstein
that may not be criminal. I do think it is wrong. I mean, people like Deepak Chopra.
Does that apply? Does your concern apply to Stacey Plaskett Member of
It
Congress.
applies. Did you just hear me?
across the board.
Did you just hear me say?
think she should resign? Should
There
she
you go
resign?
again.
Scott,
There you go again, trying to make this into a Democrat.
I think it's very.
versus
She was
Republican.
being
But Scott,
programmed by him
it's
after the
very
moment you said we all
for
knew.
you to. It's
Well,
very
then she's gotta
hypocritical for
explain
you
it.
to call out the names of only the Democrats, but not apply the very same logic to everyone.
What
who is
Republican
named-
was he programming?
Listen,
Exactly. Like you have these talking heads come out and they try to do this false equivalence. So let's not talk about the Democrats. Okay, we need to talk about both Democrats and Republicans. Okay, so which Republican was he texting while they were in a House hearing or at a House hearing? Which Democrat or which Republican was he signaling what to say during a hearing? He was essentially controlling a sitting elected official. So when the Democrats have videos of Republicans that were being directed or programmed by Epstein, then we can have that conversation. But here, that did not happen.
hold on. You're basically saying if you're named in these documents, I guess you're saying that they should be condemned. Anna is basically saying, yeah, let it all out. But you're the only one who's making a carve out for one person, and that's Donald Trump.
There's no evidence that he had any contact with Epstein after he excommunicated him, but we do have evidence that he was programming Democrat members of Congress. Why isn't that a big deal to you guys?
I guess the point is we just don't know.
We do know that. We absolutely know he was programming Plaskett.
All right, so Democrats' hypocrisy knows no bounds. Guys, I would say again and again, for me, it's not about Democrats or Republican. That is the truth. It is not about Democrat or Republican for me. As far as I'm concerned, if someone is guilty of wrongdoing, then let them face the consequences of their actions. All right. And in another stunning display of a lack of accountability, we have a bombshell report that the former CIA director, John Ratcliffe, all right, told Lisa Page, a former employee and legal rep of the FBI, under oath, that the Obama DOJ told the FBI not to even consider charging Hillary Clinton despite her gross negligence with classified material. Like, this is the kind of insanity that we see. And when we call it out, we're accused of being bipartisan. Of being partisan. It's really about us telling the truth about what's going on right before our eyes. You have people who accuse President Trump and Republicans of doing something while their own side has done it 1,000 times worse than what they're accusing the Republicans of doing. Okay, so let's watch this report.
About what the Obama Justice Department ordered federal lawyers to do and not to do concerning the Hillary Clinton email investigation. Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge tells us in sworn testimony on Capitol Hill, one of the insiders told lawmakers what she was told.
During closed-door testimony last summer, former FBI lawyer Lisa Page said the Obama administration's Justice Department advised the FBI not to pursue the gross negligence statute for Hillary Clinton in the mishandling of classified information. Former U.S. Attorney and House Republican John Ratcliffe led the line of questioning about the statute, known as 18 U.S.C. 793. Ratcliffe, you're making it sound like it was the department that told you you're not going to charge gross negligence because we're the prosecutors. Page interrupted. That is correct. Page's testimony appears to conflict with then FBI Director James Comey's recommendation in July 2016 against criminal charges for Clinton.
What I can assure the American people is that this investigation was done honestly, competently, and independently. No outside influence of any kind was brought to bear.
The Republican-led House Oversight and Judiciary Committee investigation ended in January. With Democrats now in control, the committee's new ranking Republican made the Page transcript public.
The transcript releases show an inherent two-tier system, one in which Hillary Clinton gets the treatment that she got, where there was actually at first concern that they were going to charge her, and then with Loretta Lynch in charge, charge before she recused herself made it very clear that that was not going to happen.
The tip-off came from a chart drawn up by federal investigators assigned to the Clinton case known as mid-year exam. Fox News has confirmed that the chart listed possible federal statutes for prosecution. Next to gross negligence was a notation, quote, DOJ not willing to charge this. Only known cases are military. Cases when accused lost the information. In response to the page revelations, the president tweeted the transcripts, quote, make the Obama Justice Department look exactly like it was, a broken and corrupt machine. The Page transcript also confirms Fox's earlier reporting. The Page testified Russia collusion was still unproven when Special Counsel Robert Mueller was appointed.
So we have all of this happening. We're seeing Democrats being caught colluding with Jeffrey Epstein while they accuse President Trump of being an Epstein ally. You have the Obama DOJ telling the FBI not to investigate Hillary Clinton's mishandling of the emails, the classified documents with having an email server in her basement. And then the sitting FBI director coming out to claim that there's no wrongdoing and they're doing everything by the book. All right, so look, I don't know about you, all right, but I'm sick and tired of being lied to and being gaslit whenever we call out the facts of a certain story. The Democrats have shown that they can't be trusted, at least this version of the Democrat Party. There are a few bright sparks like John Fetterman who will tell the truth. Of course, to a point, okay, but he will tell the truth about the outlandish policies and moves that the Democrat Party has been making. But as a whole, as a monolith, they've essentially been lying to the American people for a long time. And those of us who are watching on the outside are wondering why they even get voted for. But you see, when people are radicalized against conservatism, all right, they are willing to do anything to continue to preserve their control of the government. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. All right. Well, politics for me is kind of like sports. Okay, and that's why I kind of swore off sports, but I have to talk about politics because it has to do with it affects me directly. Sports is like, when you support a team and you're rooting for a team, and that team sort of cheats to get over on the other team. For example, in soccer, there's this thing where people where players dive in the penalty box in order to gain a penalty. All right, now, if that was your team and the guy took a dive in order to get a penalty to win the match, of course you would cheer. Of course you would celebrate and say, what a wonderful day, we won. But you know what? If that was my team, I would feel bad about the way the win was acquired. If you had to cheat to win, then you didn't really win. All right. So when you have a political party that is willing to bend the rules, use a two-tier justice system, weaponize the justice system against your political opponents and claim that you didn't. And then when a legitimate investigation is happening, whenever your political opponent is now in power, you claim that they were weaponizing the justice system. It just doesn't make any sense. All right. We all just have to learn how to tell the truth. It's really that simple. Now, in another news report, all right, we have Zoran Mamdani. He's back in the news. All right. He said this while he was running his campaign, but he's repeated it again during an interview. He says that he is going to, I'm going to just read it exactly the way it shows up here. Okay, hold on. I need to be sure I have the video queued up. All right, so Zoran Mamdani, I'm going to share the screen so that we can read it together. All right, so let's see. 1 second. All right, so let me use a different display. There you go. All right, so Zohran Mamdani, the 34-year-old Democrat socialist elected New York City mayor on November 4th, 2025, affirmed in an ABC interview his commitment to upholding International Criminal Court arrest warrants. So let me ask you a question, okay? Now I'm going to read this, but I'm going to ask a question, including the one issued against Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for alleged war crimes in Gaza. Outgoing Mayor Eric Adams rejected the pledge as unlawful, citing federal supremacy over local authority and stating no NYPD officer would comply. The statement has drawn criticism from conservative and Jewish advocates on social media for undermining U.S. sovereignty, while pro-Palestinian groups support it as a stand for accountability. This is yet another show of hypocrisy, another show of double standards, creating a two-tier justice system that is separate from what federal law dictates. All right, so Mamdani is busy promising something that he may not be able to fulfill, or promising something that would bring his office in direct conflict with the federal government. Yet another reason for them to say President Trump is this big bad wolf that wouldn't let them uphold the law of the international community. Look, it's not a mistake that the likes of the Chicago mayor is appealing to the UN to step in to interfere with federal law enforcement. These are globalists. Whenever globalists behave a certain way, you have to pick it out. They would rather overrule the sovereign laws of a nation, of their countries, in favor with globalist ideologies and rules. All right, so let's watch this video and let me know what you think in the chat. Now, please don't forget, I'm looking out to engage with you in the chat. And once your chat comes in, I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it out loud, and we're going to engage. Let's have a listen.
You said you would arrest Benjamin Netanyahu based on the 2024 International Court arrest warrant. Next UN General Assembly, as mayor, would you do that?
So I've said time and again that I believe this is a city of international law, and being a city of international law means looking to uphold international law. And that
this is a stupid statement. It is New York City. It is a city in the United States of America. America's foreign policy should dictate the behavior of the officials within every city of the United States of America. What he's essentially doing is carving out an enclave within the United States to say federal law doesn't work here. And that is what many of these mayors of blue cities have been doing whenever they go out there to oppose the enforcement of immigration law.
That means upholding the warrants from the International Criminal Court, whether they're for Benjamin Netanyahu or Vladimir Putin. I think that that's critically important to showcase our values. And unlike Donald Trump, I'm someone who looks to exist within the confines of the laws that we have. So I will look to exhaust every legal possibility, not to create my own laws.
Now, who is we? Who is we? Is it federal law to hand over your allies to people who want them arrested? For example, to an extent, all right, Russia would have wanted Zelensky to be handed over to Russia, and Zelensky would have wanted Putin to be handed over to Ukraine whenever either of them had visited. Does their desire for those things to happen override the sovereignty of the United States? Right? He's saying the quiet part out loud. He's more Palestinian than American. All right, he's more Palestinian than American. The International Criminal Court, all right, picked up these charges from countries like South Africa and the like, who claim that Israel is perpetrating a genocide. But did they ever put up a criminal report or a request for the arrest of the leaders of Hamas who are living cushy lives in the Emirates. Did they do that? Double standards yet again. If they were to say, all right, we need to first of all arrest the people who planned and executed the October 7th attack. Let's start there. And all the people funding them and all the masterminds, if the money leads to Iran, let's arrest people in Iran. Let's put out an arrest warrant for those in Iran and those in the Emirates. And then Israel is going too far. We need to call them to order. Let's, get so and so arrested. That makes more sense. But when you have a unilateral attack on one party who was the aggrieved party in the first place, and then you have stooges like Mamdani wanting to carry out international arrests when he isn't authorized to do so. All right. Essentially, he's willing to create an international incident because of his activist tendencies. All right, that's a problem.
On the other hand, this is also a world event. Does that not count a little bit?
Well, I think we are a global city, but I also think what New Yorkers are looking for is consistency in the way in which we talk about our values and follow through on them. And that's why I think these warrants from the International Criminal Court, they are worth fully exploring every legal possibility to actually follow through on.
New York is not a global city. All right. Those of you who are watching, all right, I need to hear what you think in the chat. I don't live in the United States. I don't live in New York. I know New York is home to people from different countries and backgrounds. I know that, so that's granted. But that doesn't make New York a global city in the sense of global law overrules or overrides federal law. That is not how it means or what that means. All right. So let me know what you think in the chat. All right. We're going to be doing a wrap up in the chat, and we will be going over this. Now, there's something that was making the rounds yesterday. I thought it would leave the news cycle by today, but it's still there. All right. We have this report. I'm going to just put myself to the side again. Purdue Northwest professor Nicole Rousseau disrupts TPUSA meeting, accuses group of fascism. Like, this is a professor. These are the people who are brainwashing kids who go to college. And she steps into a meeting being held by students, a TPUSA meeting held by students, where she proceeds to begin to accuse them of being fascists. Oh, geez. Associate Professor Nicole Rousseau interrupted the inaugural meeting of Purdue University Northwest's Turning Point USA student chapter on Monday, delivering a 2-minute lecture on fascism and criticizing the group's conservative affiliations and influence on historical education. Students briefly engaged her before she left, prompting the university to launch an investigation while reaffirming its commitment to free expression. The incident's viral video has amplified campus tensions following the September 2025 assassination of TPUSA founder Charlie Kirk. All right. This is going to keep happening because we have people like this lady going out there to make trouble. We're going to see more of this in the days to come. We're going to see more of this because when these people don't get when they don't get, let's say, the consequences for their actions. This woman just walked into a meeting to berate them and essentially, well, let's watch the video and see if she used the word fascist. Okay, but let me know your thoughts because it appears that all of the assumptions we made, all of the assumptions that we made, that the whole Charlie Kirk episode would cause some people to have some common sense and some decency. Some common decency was all misguided because right now we're seeing them. They celebrated his assassination, and then we still have them coming out to interrupt a private inaugural meeting to accuse these kids of fascism. So let's have a listen.
Oh, you want to know what fascism means? Because I'll tell you. You guys want to know? Yeah. When you have this society. Okay.
So I think she had already accused them of fascism, and then they basically told her, "Okay, you're accusing us of fascism. Can you define what fascism is?"
You have a situation here where you want to go into classrooms and you want to tell the faculty that they're not allowed to speak the truth about the history of this country. You want them to be, what's the word for slaves now? Involuntary employees or involuntary workers. We can't even say slavery. That's ridiculous.
Wanting to impose on the teachers. We are wanting this to be within the students. And
the students want to decide what history is.
No, we know what history is, actually. Yeah. Did you know that all of our founding fathers were actually Christian, and this country was formed on Christian values?
All right, so why is it that whenever you have people who are predominantly white in a group, the person who goes after them and attacks them brings up slavery, as if everyone who's white in one way or the other supported slavery? All right, it's that wound that will never close. It's that wound that will never close. Now, some of you might be saying, well, you don't understand because your family didn't go through slavery. Every society, every community has grudges with another community that maybe carried out an unjust act on them. One example is during the Nigerian Civil War. The Igbos were being slaughtered in other parts of Nigeria back in the mid to late 60s. And so the Igbos, the tribe that I am from originally in Nigeria, decided to secede and to create their own country. Sadly, the state that they created was landlocked because they found themselves surrounded by hostile forces, and all of them wanted to attack this new country in order to reclaim it. Why? Because of oil. Oil had been discovered within the region. And so they started the Civil War. At the end of the Civil War, there was a so-called no victor, no vanquished claim that the federal government made, but that wasn't what happened. What essentially happened was that the rest of Nigeria decided to impoverish everyone of Igbo descent. So no matter how much you owned or who you were, everyone started with the equivalent of about $1. Everyone. And then over time, we've had pogroms happening in northern Nigeria. The slaughters that we've covered on this live stream is all part of the whole thing, attacks against Igbos, all right? Because Igbos are predominantly Christian. So essentially, anyone who is Christian and lives in the north, there's a 5, like out of every 5 person who isn't a northerner, okay, 4 would be Igbo. Okay, so there are reasons for us to hold a grudge, and many Igbos hold a grudge. It is like transferred to them with the stories that they are told by their family, and they hold a grudge, and that's why most of them right now, we're seeing a groundswell of insistence of secession and creating a new country. Okay, that's what they're trying to do, but it is also creating more instability in Nigeria. There are a few of us who have learned how to live past it. We don't connect ourselves with the incidents or the sins of the past, and sometimes we have those things meet us head on, and we choose not to react in a certain way because we want to live past it. We know that the right thing to do isn't to hate, it isn't to attack someone who happens to be from a different tribe and assume that they are one of the people who are acting out against us with prejudice and with ill intent. All right, it's not a healthy way to live. So watching this is kind of a callback to stuff like that. It's not the same. All right. However, the the ideas can be are transferable. None of the people who claim that slavery, that they were hard done by slavery, ever experienced slavery. All right, those of us in from Nigeria who claim that we've been hard done by tribalistic policies that keep us from thriving in Nigeria, haven't experienced exactly what they're claiming happened in the 60s. Were those incidents bad? Yes, they were. They were horrific incidents. Slavery was horrific. The things that people in Nigeria experienced during the pogroms of the 60s and the war were horrific. But we all need to learn how to, first of all, forgive, all right, go past it, and then discuss ways of, of building bridges, all right. Walking into a room of people who are not like you and trying to indirectly accuse them of slavery isn't a very smart thing to do in my books. All right, so I've seen some activity in the chat, and I'm just going to read again. All right. Okay. Hang on. Do you guys like to see my face in full screen mode? I like hiding my face because I'm quite self-conscious. I don't like being self-conscious while I'm live streaming, so I like to hide myself in a corner. Okay, so Collective Consciousness sent this message. The elites are puppets of the Illuminati. All right, I've heard and read these statements about the Illuminati, and over the years, I have, and I'll be very honest, I am intrigued by the Illuminati, and I would like to do, maybe we can do a live stream where we talk about the Illuminati, the founding fathers being part of the Freemasons, like Canary King told me. Canary King, I have not forgotten. You see this note, it's in red here, the founding fathers. Okay, I have it there. So I want us to dive into some of these topics because I find them intriguing. Okay, so maybe we can plan a live stream where we can all talk about it and kind of unpack some of those ideas. I'm hoping that one day we can do stuff like that. The Mamdani segment, Canary King says, is interesting, but I don't fully understand the issue. The issue is that he's threatening or promising to arrest a foreign, the leader of a foreign country. All right. Essentially, starting a war. Essentially, starting a war. The ICC put out, in my opinion, a dodgy warrant for Netanyahu's arrest. It's dodgy because they haven't done the same for the sponsors, who people actually, they know who these sponsors are. They haven't put out the same warrant for the sponsors of Hamas who attacked Israel and did what they did. They haven't. And people know that Iran was involved. All right. They know Iran was involved. How come Iran isn't being subpoenaed, or there's no arrest order for the arrest of anyone in the Iranian government who has a hand in this matter? All right. I mean, it's dodgy for that, because of that. Let's see. Canary King says the issue is that the city has laws, but there is also the state law, and then there's federal law. But federal law overrides state law. There's state law. There are sovereignty clauses for the states. But it is the nation that is meant to enact an ICC warrant for arrest. It's not the city. All right, it's not the city. That's what I think. Now, if you don't agree, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just speaking out of my ass, and I don't know what I'm talking about. And granted, it's very likely I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm just using deductive reasoning. All right, there is a hierarchy to state supremacy and federal supremacy. The Constitution allows the states to carry out certain state laws that cover its citizens and the way the citizens choose to live. Mamdani, on the other hand, is pandering to global law. His job as a city official is the citizens of his city, not what's going on on a different continent. All right, that is the purview of the State Department and the federal government. All right, not him. Okay, so when I see this playing out and I see his total disregard for the supremacy of the federal government, which is what many blue state mayors have been doing for the last few months, it's very clear that it's either an intentional provocation that he's trying to stir up to say, hey, look, President Trump is siding with people who commit genocide. All right, so if I could do a segment and find some legalese to explain how he is within his rights to arrest Netanyahu or not to. Okay, maybe if you want, you can tell me in the chat if I can do a search on AI to find out if it's true. Okay, so maybe we can do that, but I want to get through the chat. Mamdani can't unilaterally make international pacts. True, but can he unilaterally make international requests? Arrests. I don't think he can. Not sure your critique of South Africa is deserved. Critique of South Africa. What did I say about South Africa? I can't remember what I said about South Africa. All right. Since I can't remember, then maybe you can remind me. This sounds like a legal issue. Attorney General of New York. No, my critique of South Africa, not sure my critique of South Africa is deserved. About them being one of the countries. No, it's not a critique. I am critiquing countries that have all gone to one side to say, arrest Netanyahu. I'm looking for the country that has stepped up to also say, and also grab the people who planned the attack on October 7th. I mean, I'm only asking for an equal measure of justice for people who initiated the attack that sparked off the retaliation that they are complaining, about. There has to be some consciousness that something triggered this entire debacle. That's all I'm saying. Okay. This sounds like a legal issue. The Attorney General of New York needs to explain legal parameters to Mamdani. True, very true. He thinks he's a king because he was elected mayor. So should we plan a no kings protest? Oh my God, you're a mayor. There are clear parameters to mayoral powers. Very, very true. Very, very true. All right. Now, I may have gone on too long concerning some of the points that I was trying to make. All right. But sometimes when you're trying to kind of think through a certain idea, these things can be very hard to articulate. Okay. So it's not like I have all the answers. I wish I did. Sometimes I feel like I should script all of the episodes so that I have my thoughts kind of put together. Okay. All right. So Canary King, I've read the rest of your chat. Noted. All right. Well noted. All right. I'm going to be trying to keep these episodes well within an hour. And right now we're about to hit the hour mark. But always do your best to let me know your thoughts in the chat. I am eager to know what you think. I'm eager to know if you have any thoughts on the coverage. Canary King has expressed certain questions that he had about some of the takes I've made concerning South Africa's role in calling for the arrest, and so on. Okay, but these are very nuanced situations. I have my opinions. opinions, and I will do my best to let you know these are my opinions. It's not fact. It's not the law. I don't know everything. All right. Yeah. So Canary King, yeah, go ahead and shoot your question. So we're basically, the three topics for today were trending at some point, and then they kept flipping. Okay. So I'm going to show you. Okay. Do I need to? I'm gonna. Okay. So Canary King, send me an email, okay? Send me an email, and then I will connect with you on WhatsApp. All right. I think we need to kind of have a call to just talk through this entire thing, because going into the trending topics is very tricky. The thing trending now may not be trending in 3 hours. So I put together some of these topics early hours of this morning. I think it was around 3 or 4 in the morning. And then by the time I woke up, some of the topics had flipped. So I had to switch out a few of the topics. All right. So that tends to happen whenever you look at I did I did do my best to stick with the trending hot topics. So if you reach out to me, Crossroads IRL, okay, I'm going to just put it up on the screen, crossroadsirl@gmail.com. And then I'll basically send you my details on WhatsApp, and then we can just either have a chat or have a call, because this is developing. Most other YouTube channels have a researcher or researchers who do all of this for them. And because I am a one-person team, I do the research, I do the setup, I do the troubleshooting, I do the live streaming presentation, everything. Things will fall through the cracks. So I tend to do my best, but we're working on something, and hopefully we will be. And then while we're looking at the trending stories, sometimes the trending stories for me may differ from what other people see. I think that tends to happen too. So I'm really trying to understand the best way to give you guys the best news, the most important news. Okay. Give you the best and most important news. All right. So I'm going to show you just briefly, show you what has recently changed. All right. Now, if I showed you my screen, I'm just going to show you what it looks like right now. So this is the trending news. All right. Right now at the very top is the Purdue story that we covered last. We can see the Mamdani story is second. And then we can see other stories. Before this, the stories were different. We had the account on the we had the account on the Epstein documents. All right, that left the trending screen and so on. So it tends to flip occasionally. So that's what I just needed to understand. All right, but I do value the feedback and the input, and I will definitely be doing my best to make sure that we kind of get. Now, the truth of the matter is that these stories or the live streams are made interesting by your engagement. All right. I see you, Canary King. Got your number. I'm gonna put you in my WhatsApp right now. All right, so guys, we're at the tail end. I guess 55. We're at the tail end of the. We're at the tail end of the live stream, and this is where we're saying goodbye. Canary King and I do this regularly, where we kind of talk and kind of be very open about things, me about the live stream, my ideas and stuff. So you're also allowed to chime in, whether you're watching on the backup channel or on the main channel. All right. I see people come into the backup channel, and because they don't see the conversation happening at that end, it kind of feels like you're by yourself and you don't know what's going on. All right. So just feel free to excuse me, I'm trying to behave myself here. Feel free to jump into the conversation, whether you're watching on the backup YouTube channel, on Rumble, on Kick, or on Twitch. All right, feel free to jump into the conversation and be a part of what we are discussing. All right, guys, this is the end of the stream. I hope you enjoyed what we were able to share today. I will see you this evening. This evening, we're going to be going live at 9 p.m. Eastern. All right, so look out for the notification of the live stream, and then hit the notification button so that you're notified once the live stream goes live. But the most important thing is, yeah, you can bring your eyeballs to take a look at what we're sharing. But at the same time, I want you to be a part of the live stream, to be a part of the chat, so that we can have a real conversation about the topics that we're covering. All right, until next time, God bless you, and I'll see you on the next one.
Welcome to Headlines and History, live news reactions and your views. We're about to go live soon, so grab your spot and get ready for a sharp, balanced take on today's biggest news stories with a dash of historical insight. Stay tuned. Each week, we tackle the headlines that matter: politics, economics, global events with a balanced lens. We'll react live, tie today's stories to historical moments, and spotlight your views in the chat. From trade talks echoing the 1990s to crises recalling 2008, we're here to unpack it all. Your voice drives the show. Share your thoughts or historical parallels in the live chat, and we'll dive into the best ones. It's news, context, and community all in 1 hour. We're moments away from launching Headlines and History. Stick around for live reactions, historical nuggets, and your chance to chime in. Hit the notification bell, prep your comments, and let's make sense of the news together. See you soon.